to talk to you about journals because I think when everybody sees all the bright and shiny, pretty journals that there are that are really published to perfection, it makes us afraid to actually sketch in a sketchbook. Journals and sketchbooks are meant to be used, and they are not perfect. They're a way for you to record your feelings, your expression, your ideas, the things that just come surfacing up. So when you have a journal, use it. And I wanted to take a minute to make the journal process less magical and more real. So this is one example of a sketchbook journal and how it's just a little drawing pad and it just has basic small ideas. Here's another one, my favorite, was given to me by a friend, and it's in my purse all the time. I like it because it has a place to write on one side and then a blank sheet on the other side, and then also I like to put things in there that I find along the way to dry. You could even just use a scratch pad. These are awesome. If you haven't read Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way, morning pages are really helpful to get stuff sort of lined out in your head, and these little composition books are the best thing to do that. Sketchbooks can look all different ways. Borders and Barnes and Nobles have lots of them, but it's a good idea to get ones, some that are bound pretty good, because they tend to fall apart after a while. Putting the dates also a good idea. Trying out paint colors or making notes to yourself, little sketches. I think that a lot of times the best way for me to sketch is to have an idea of something that I want to work on and then just sort of sketch little things. Not really even trying to get a finished drawing, just to sort of get your ideas out there, because you can always refine them later. One of the things too that a good thing to use a sketchbook for is to try out different materials and different media, overlapping, letting different media sort of blend together. It's a good place to do that. And then if you have some sketches that you like, you could always watercolor them. Ideas for compositions for paintings. All these sketchbooks are really helpful. You could even just alter an old book to become like your sketchbook by gluing pages together. This is the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about. It's an idea book, and it's just a, I think, 5-section notebook that is a place that you can just stick magazine pictures or things as you find them, just to sort of give you inspiration along the way. Here's a newspaper article. It had a great picture of a dove that I saved. It really also gives you a good idea of what sorts of subject matter and styles you like, because after a while you start seeing that the things that you pull out of magazines and put in your idea book have similar content or a similar style, that tends to be something you're drawn toward. And the last one I wanted to show you is to give you some ideas of things you might want to adopt, is a sketchbook and notes that stays in your studio space or near where you work, so that you can write down notes and things in the studio that happen or things you want to remember later on. For instance, this page I did was trying out different pens, and I wrote little notes about which gel pens worked better, which ones were thicker, which ones worked best on fabric. Then on this page in 2007 I was writing about fusing plastic bags and the different things that worked and didn't work, so that later on when you're going back to do some of the things you did earlier in the studio, you have some notes so you don't continue to make those mistakes again later on projects you're working on. So really helpful to keep in the studio, and I hope that makes you a little bit more open to using sketchbooks in your daily life, in your purse, in your car, next to your bed. And don't be afraid to just, use them. It's just paper.